Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Melody, and on this channel I like to discuss fragrances. Today I'll be going over some fragrances that I have decluttered, so if that's something you're interested in, please keep watching. So recently I decluttered some fragrances, I think about 15 or 16 fragrances that I no longer wanted in my collection for one reason or another. So I was just going to go over those. I don't have any of the bottles with me. I've already given them away to different people. So I'll just be throwing up a picture of them and just discussing why it was that I no longer wanted them in my collection. So here we go. So the first one that I gave away was Oscar de la Renta's Bella Essence. I gave that to my daughter. So honestly, a lot of these fragrances I let my daughters have first pick to see if they wanted them. So I could like go through their rooms and snag all the fragrances back, but I'm not going to bother. I'll just put up the photo. So Bella Essence was one of the fragrances that I was just kind of unimpressed by. It was boring. I never wanted to grab for it. Next, I got rid of Marc Jacobs Dot and Marc Jacobs Honey. I thought the bottles were kind of kitschy and cute. I found Dot at Nordstrom Rack for a really great price, and then I decided to get Honey because I kind of wanted both of the bottles. And neither of those fragrances I really loved. They're both cute fragrances, but they really weren't my vibe at all. They were kind of light. I mean, I believe they're both EDTs, but I believe the Dot one kind of smelled like fruit punch. It was a nice scent, and I think it actually smells better. My middle daughter Ellie really loves this Ladybug TV show, so I give those ones to her. And it smelled really wonderful on her. I think that like fruit punch kind of quality on my skin just does not do well. And then the honey one, I don't know what it was about that one. It kind of just smelled sort of like shampoo. So it was one of those fragrances that it just didn't suit me very well. Another fragrance that like really didn't do well on my skin was Ajmal Aram Summer. I believe that's how you pronounce it. That one my daughter really loved. I think she loved the bottle with the seashells in it. But for me, it just did not work well on my skin. Like the fruit in it got kind of rancid and just gross. Now this one, a lot of people are gonna be like surprised by because it's a huge favorite for almost everybody. And I blind bought the bottle thinking it's a vanilla. Of course it's gonna be great. And it's Kayali Vanilla 28. That fragrance, I was not as wowed by it as I originally thought I would be when I got it. It just kind of smelled like a sweet vanilla. Like there wasn't anything about it that made me think this was so much better than a bunch of other vanillas I tried. But it was nice. The problem is, you need to spray a considerable amount to like have it project at all. And I can't spray it more than twice without choking myself out. I spray it once, I'm okay. Spray it the second time, I'm starting to feel it in the back of my throat. The third time, I'm coughing, and I'll be coughing for a long while. So it's just a fragrance. While I think it's pretty, and I would have kept it for layering, I know that's a lot of the Kayali fragrances are great for that, and I think layering Kayali Vanilla 28 with other fragrances was nice. I did try and do that, but I just coughed no matter what, and I don't know what it is in that fragrance that causes me to do that. But for that reason, I have to give it to someone else. The next one I got rid of is Emor London, London Oud number 3. So that is like a perfect Baccarat Rouge dupe. While I really enjoy Baccarat Rouge type scents, I already have Cloud, and I can smell Cloud on me the entire time. I find with Baccarat, my skin tends to pull the woodiness in that fragrance, and I don't get any of that sweet spun sugar. When I smell it on other people, it has that like wafting air quality and that spun sugar scent, and I absolutely adore it. However, on my skin, I don't get that like airy quality. I just get kind of like a like woody airy quality to it, which is lovely, but I want to smell like the whole Baccarat thing, and on my skin it just doesn't do that. I don't get a nosmic to it because I can smell other parts of it, but that like spun sugar smell that everybody gets on my skin, I just don't smell it. But I give it to one of my daughters, and when she wears it, it's very beautiful. She sprays like one spray, and like I could smell it out of her room. It's just a very beautiful scent that like it just doesn't work on me. So I do have Cloud Intense, and it's very similar, but that one I get that sweetness throughout, and I honestly think I like it a little bit better. If Baccarat Rouge or any of the dupes worked on my skin, I think I would prefer that one, but it just doesn't work for me. So that was one that I had to get rid of as well. But I still recommend it for anyone looking for an affordable Baccarat Rouge dupe. It really does smell just like it. Another one that I got rid of was Reminiscence Dragée. That fragrance is really lovely. It's like this um, like candy coated almond scent to my nose, and it's really lovely. However, as it wears on me, it gets kind of this medicinal or like uh, some kind of aromatic quality to it that I just don't care for. It sort of reminds me of going into a Lush store, and I know a lot of people love the smell of Lush, but to me, like, there's just too much going on, and it kind of has some medicinal quality to it, and so that's what I kept smelling every time that I'd wear Dragée. That beginning, that opening is really lovely, but I didn't care for the dry down. Next, I got rid of Azara Wanted Girl. That is an amazing fragrance, and I actually really love it. However, I never pulled for it. It just sat there on my shelf. It would even sit like on my tray that I would use, and I wouldn't pick it up. I don't really know what that is, but it's an amazing fragrance, and I gave it to my daughter, and she sprayed it a few times, and now I'm like, I want it back. So I think when she runs out of a bottle, I might buy another one and have us share it, but I kind of would feel bad giving her a fragrance and then just stealing it back from her. I kind of regret giving that one away, but only sort of. I can always like go into her room and wear it when I want, but I'm probably bringing that one back into my collection someday. Next, I had the Tom Ford Soleil Blanc Shimmer Body glitter thing, whatever it is. And the scent's okay. I'm not actually a big fan of coconut scents in general, so that was a fragrance that my daughters preferred. I think they just like all the glitter on them. So I decided I used up like half of the little bottle. There's a part of me that was like, as someone who just wants to like finish a bottle off, I was like, maybe I'll hold on to it. But I figured there's really no need in that if I'm not enjoying it. I might as well just give it to someone who would. So we're halfway done. Bear with me. So next one is Cacharel Yes I Am Fabulous. I love Yes I Am, and I really love Yes I Am Pink First as well, but the Yes I Am Fabulous, there's just something in it that I just don't really care for, so I decided I have these other two, so I might as well give that one away, and my daughter loves a little lipstick bottle, so I give that one to her as well. And if you're new to the channel, I have 3 daughters, so they all enjoy the fragrances. They have these small little collections of their own, which I think is really sweet. Next, I have Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal by Night. I just found that scent to be like too thick and rich, and it might be that like I haven't been wearing it lately just because of how hot it is, and it might be really well suited for a really cold day, so I probably will sneak in to my daughter's room and spray it. I I think it's a little bit of a deep scent for her. So I tell her like one spray. You can have one spray of that. I don't think that's a fragrance she should be like dousing herself in by any means. But she really loved the fragrance, so I let her have that one. The same goes for La Belle Le Parfum. That one it's beautiful. It just doesn't suit me in any way. I think it's like it's too deep or something for me. There's something about that fragrance that just doesn't suit my personality at all. But my daughter thinks it smells like a cupcake. I don't think it smells like a cupcake, but she says it's her cupcake fragrance. So she's 6, and she sprayed it one time. So she wore it to church. She's so cute. She sprays one time and she dabs her wrist and she dabs behind her ear. So I'm never concerned that she's like wearing too much fragrance. However, we went to church. So Sunday morning, like I wore Terra de Joia and I oversprayed quite a bit. That fragrance, it really doesn't project the way I'd love it to or anything, but that's neither here nor there. I wore fragrance, and my other daughter, she wore like a spray or two of Dot, the Marc Jacobs one, and my youngest sprayed one spray of La Belle Le Parfum, and we got in the car, and that's the only thing you could smell. So yeah, I think she probably stood out at Sunday school, but anyhow, she really loves that fragrance. I'll probably have to have a conversation with her about what's appropriate and where. But that is a fragrance that I might try and sneak in and spray it once or twice in the winter and see how I feel about it. But for me, it just didn't feel like it suited me. I got rid of both of my Zara fragrances, the Rich Warm Addictive. I had heard really great things about that, and some people compared it a little bit to Angel Share, and sort of it felt kind of like watered down version of almost any fragrance. Like to me, there wasn't anything substantial that like helped like weighted it. It just kind of, I don't know. It had all of the notes that would make you think of some kind of heavy grounded fragrance, but there was nothing to it. It was just kind of, it just smelled like a watered down fragrance. I just was not impressed. And then I also had Cherry Smoothie. I just don't like the cherry in that fragrance. It smells, I wouldn't say artificial. It wasn't really an artificial cherry scent. It was more just like a sour kind of cherry scent. And I have fragrances and I've smelled fragrances with sour cherry in them that haven't bothered me. There's just some kind of cherry fragrances that just smell too sharp or tart for my liking. It gives you that back of the throat kind of sour feeling. And I just don't care for that. So I got rid of that one as well. Now we're to the last one. This one I haven't given away yet. It was my very first blind buy. It's the Nina Ricci Chant d'Extase. It is a lovely fragrance. I just can't find a lot of case uses for it. I wore it quite a bit when we were in Oregon because of the richness of like the caramel and stuff. It doesn't feel like a summer scent to me, especially here in Texas. During the summer, it's just way too hot. But there is a marine and aquatic quality that feels more like summer. The opening is quite fresh, like a summer scent, but like with the base notes and stuff in the dry down, it smells too much like a fall or a winter scent. So I don't know where to wear that. So while we're in Oregon during the winter time, wearing it at the beach was the perfect spot, but I'm never there. I mean, we go like every few years, so I'm not going to hold on to that fragrance for that reason. And I know someone who would really appreciate it, if not just for the box alone. So I have someone in mind that I'm going to get that one to. So those are all of the fragrances that I've recently decluttered. I would say the majority of them wound up going to my daughters. I have like 4 or 5 that I'm setting aside for other people as well. I don't really care for trying to sell them. Mercari seems like where most people sell their fragrances, but it also seems like there are a lot of people trying to scam people, and I don't want to give away a fragrance to someone who's like not going to wind up paying. There's a lot of ways that buyers can kind of scam people out of their money. So I think, not that it's a waste of time. Certainly if you have a really nice fragrance and it costs you a lot and you decide you don't like it, that's probably a good place for you to go. But giving the fragrances to my daughters as well, I feel like it's out of my hands and someone else is going to use it, but I can always go back and try some of them. And then there are ones that I really don't care for, but I know other people will like them. So I don't mind gifting them. I think I actually prefer that to trying to sell them. There are times where I'm like, oh, that really hurts. I've spent a lot of money and it's a fragrance that doesn't work for me. And I've considered selling them, but for me, I think it's just best that I give them away. I feel better about it. Anyhow, so those are the fragrances that I decluttered. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if any of those fragrances are fragrances you really like, or if ones that you also didn't care for. I hope you're enjoying my content, and I would love it if you would subscribe, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.